Bullshit.
He watches his mother shoot his father 3 times in the back.
I'm Mr. Blackman. They're the plebeians.
Do I look like Quasimodo to you?
What about Jody Lauer? What about China?
Speak to the deathbed.
Adrenaline rush now. Adrenaline rush now. Adrenaline rush now.
And of course, you've been watching TNA lately.
I think I missed the first 10 minutes of TNA, but yes, I did.
Well, you missed the best part then, unfortunately, because it was Scott Steiner going absolutely crazy. Oh. And really, best part of the show.
Shut up, Jeff!
But we'll fill you in on it. Why? Here's a problem with you watching TNA. I thought about this last week, actually, and I've been thinking about this more. You were a TNA virgin, kind of a wrestling virgin, so to speak, and by watching the shows, you're going to get smart to them, and thus you will be valueless on this show.
Yes, but I don't like wrestling, and I don't think I'll ever have anything but irritation towards it. So.
Well, okay.
Well, we appreciate that you sacrifice your time by subjecting yourself to the experience that is total nonstop action.
See, it's very valuable to get Nails here on the show because Nails is a fight fan. Nails has some understanding of pro wrestling. But most of all, he's that guy that watches Ultimate Fighter and then sticks around for a little bit of TNA. So by getting his perspective on these shows, we can understand what the average fan thinks about TNA. Not what the wrestling fan, the hardcore internet fan.
The 3% of the audience that frankly is listening to this show?
Yes, we're talking about just the average dude.
Yeah.
And that's what Nails is. So, Nails...
How does it feel to be average?
How does it feel? Yes, exactly.
It feels great.
Okay. That's what we wanted to hear. By the way, I just want everybody to know that is listening to this right now, if you've not figured it out already, if you TiVo both Ultimate Fighter and TNA, and you're going to watch them the next day, I recommend you watch Ultimate Fighter first, because for the second fucking week in a row, I've gone to watch TNA first and seen the last minute of Ultimate Fighter, thus spoiling the entire show for me. So that's my recommendation to everybody. Watch Ultimate Fighter first, so nothing gets spoiled. Now, with that out of the way, it opened up with Jeff Jarrett and his wacky yellow jacket, which is really not the best way to hook Ultimate Fighter viewers, in my opinion. But immediately, or almost immediately, out came Scott Steiner, and he completely flipped out, and he attacked Don West. And the highlight, the two greatest men on the show are Scott Steiner and Don West.
Don West trying to fake Steiner out and flee.
Scott Steiner does the most fantastic job of playing just a crazed psycho that would kick your ass with no
hesitation,
no good reason.
Yeah, no cause.
He would see you and he'd just kick your ass because you were there. And he does a fantastic job playing that character. And Don West is the foil. He's the pussy that gets bullied around, and he does a monumentally great job. Jeremy Borash does a great job, but he never actually gets physically accosted. He just has to stand there and look scared.
Yes.
Don West actually has to freak out, cower in fear, cover up his head and hide and pull his jacket over his head, and he was just great. So they called him into the ring, and basically Jarrett and Steiner wanted to know what the King of the Mountain qualifying match was tonight. Don West didn't know. Mike Tenay didn't know. Apparently Mike Tenay's management now. They always go to Mike Tenay for the answers. I guess he's a booker in real life and in storyline.
Well, in storyline, he's denying it at least.
Well, yeah, but he denied. If we called Mike Tenay right now and asked him to finish the pay-per-view, he'd deny it.
That's true. And he'd cut a promo on us.
He probably would. So they threw him into the ring. They wanted to know this answer. Nobody gave the answer. So out came Sting and Raven to make the save. Raven has dyed his hair now blonde. He had dyed it light blue, so it looked gray. He looked 100 years old. It is now blonde, so he merely looks 75 years old. They ran off the bad guys. That was the opening segment. I give it a thumbs up. It was fun. It was wacky. I have no problem with it.
I cannot give anything but a thumbs up to Don West and Scott Steiner.
Okay, there you go. Nails, you missed that one?
I missed that one. I started, I believe, during some tag team with about 4 guys who looked identical to each other.
Well, that would probably
be TNA then.
AMW versus the Naturals, I would suspect.
Yep.
It was a tag match. It was a fine 3-minute match, And I will say that I realize that the TNA division is far more stacked than the WWE tag division, particularly SmackDown, which has exactly one tag team that is currently healthy.
How do you do that?
Well, they just don't have any tag teams.
They just don't care.
They had one great tag team, M&M, and they split them up and sent one half of them to Raw. So now all you're left with is Paul London and Brian Kendrick. You've got the
Jim and I.
the Penis Brothers, who one of them is a torn pec.
Oh, good times.
And the Mexicools, I don't even know what's happened to them. Psychosis just sort of vanished.
Yeah, I don't know where Psychosis is.
Super Crazy is a single. Who's the other one? Super Crazy, Psychosis,
Hoovy.
and no. Oh, is he? Oh, he's gone.
He was the third one. Yes, he's gone.
That's right. So they've got no teams left. But anyway, with that said, I did not need to see this match for the 84th time in 4 years.
That's what I was thinking. Like, this of all the stale gimmicks on the show, Naturals versus AMW may be second most stale behind Team Canada.
Yeah.
But yes, we've seen it before. The Naturals still suck. They got new gear, so I guess they're trying. That's good. But no, nothing to see here. Moving on. AJ
and Daniels came out. There's something to see here, you jackass. AJ and Daniels came out and threw a gimmick in for the Naturals so that they could cheat and win. They didn't want to cheat and win. Today was appalled that they did not take this opportunity. And all I could think during this match was, I don't know who's a good guy and a bad guy anymore.
No.
I think Daniels and AJ are bad guys. I presume they wanted them to cheat because AMW cost them a match last week or something or other. But why was the announcer mad that the good guys didn't cheat with the object?
I don't know.
I was quite confused.
The only possible good guy coming out of this would be the Naturals, and then they were immediately punked and lost.
They were beaten, and Shane Douglas came out and scratched his chin thoughtfully.
Shane Douglas came out, he stared at them, he scratched his head thoughtfully, and then he wisely decided these men are not worth my time. And he returned to the locker room.
Yeah.
And I thought, good for you, Shane, stay back there.
And that was the end of that. Nails.
I was actually paying attention to their look the whole time, all four of them. And I don't know, but I'm just kind of irritated by the greasy, medium-length hair. It's very flat.
The Naturals' hair is very greasy and flat. That's definitely true.
And all four of them had it, except for one guy was a little blonde, I think.
The one guy was bald.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah.
And again, and same thing.
He was a blonde when he had hair, though.
I don't know who the bad guy is.
Yeah, well, we don't either, and we've been following this forever, so join the club. We had Elix, Shelley, and Kevin Nash doing an interview, and Nash basically said, TNA cannot make this man a star, so I shall.
That was pretty much what he said.
Nash needs to go away.
He needs to what?
He needs to go away.
Kevin Nash, when
You're
he's
not a big fan of Nash?
Well, I just don't understand it. He looks like he is about to fall over, or his knees have been breaking under the pressure of
his own weight.
He's had about 42 knee surgeries. That's an exaggeration by about 10, maybe.
Yeah.
He looks old and lost.
That's correct.
I just feel like, it looks like TNA is just using a bunch of retreads because they might have, a little bit of a cheap following of wrestling fans.
Well, Kevin Nash does in fact have a following.
He does, a strange following of
literally
women.
Tons of fans.
We put a link up once to Kevin Nash's fan club Christmas party or something like that.
Was that about 6 old ladies?
About 7 or 8 of the largest women you ever saw.
Yeah. But hey, everybody needs to have fans.
That's right.
At least he's got 7 ladies, Vince. You've got nothing.
And his 7... Never mind.
The point is, Kevin Nash is talking to this young man like he's 9.
Yeah.
So not only is he shorter in stature, but he's like a child. Like, Nash is a grown-up in the little kids division is the way the storyline is going. So, every
week... he made a sweet tripod joke.
He did. He made a joke about his penis.
You like the tripod joke?
I couldn't believe that joke. It just seems so out of place.
This whole thing is like a junior high gimmick. There's the popular tall guy from the basketball team and the small skinny dorks from the wrestling team, and they're making penis jokes. That's all this is, basically. So then we had Elix, Shelley, and Jay Lethal, and this was like, if Wikipedia has like a video area where you can like see video of this encyclopedia, Wikipedia entry, and you were just going to put Indie-rific Spot Fest, you would put this match in there, because that is exactly what this is. The people liked it, so I can't complain too much, but it was just... You know what I thought was I was watching SmackDown, and I was watching Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio have this fucking awesome match. And Kurt Angle's just beating on this poor little fucker for so long that Ray finally throws a drop kick.
Uh-huh.
And the place just went nuts.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, that's how you do it, kids.
So, yes, the lesson today is Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio are, in fact, better than Jay Lethal and Alex Shelley.
Yes. So, but anyway, they had a match, and the fans liked it and that sort of thing, so it was fine. The finish, though, was
It's so awesome.
Okay, they have this indie match with just one wacky high spot after another.
Move.
Just move-tastic. So then Alex Shelley beckons to Nash to get up on the apron. So Nash jumps up on the apron with his back to the ring, and he just puts his elbow up.
Oh, okay. I was trying to remember this match the whole time, and okay, I remember it now.
Yes,
okay,
yes. Kevin Nash stands there. He turns his back to the ring, holds his elbow out in midair, and then starts to look around casually, as if he's just, supposed to be there.
It's like he's leaning on an invisible statue.
Yes.
The ref might not notice that he's not leaning on anything visible.
Yes.
So, of course, the whip gets reversed, and Alex Shelley bonks into Kevin Nash's elbow, which stuns him to the point where he's immediately pinned. So then Nash gets into the ring, and by the way, he saw, this was the best part. This wasn't even supposed to be how it was, but this is how it was. He saw that he hit the wrong man, and he immediately starts entering the ring.
But it was so slow.
He's so slow that the pinfall occurs, and Jay Lethal's already back on his feet by the time he actually gets in there. He delivers a clothesline and kills the guy, and then they pretty much beat on him. Chris Sabin came out, ran them off. Chris Sabin cut a promo on Kevin Nash challenging him to a match at the pay-per-view. I'm sure this promo was fine on paper. It was not exactly fine in execution. He came off as a C-level star during this promo. And Nash just kind of looked at him like, okay, geek, we'll have a match.
Chris Sabin should never speak.
Well, he should speak, just not on TV yet. He needs to be
so
cutting
now
promos every day.
I see, yes.
What was that, Nails?
They're going to now put Kevin Nash in a match?
Yeah, with that guy that cut the promo.
I hope that guy that cut the promo was a better wrestler than he is doing promos.
He is, in fact.
He is.
By far.
The question is he a good enough wrestler to have a good match with Kevin Nash?
Do you have any reference to that?
Sure. I've seen 10 years' worth of Kevin Nash matches, and I've seen two men have a good one with him. And so the odds are heavily stacked against young Chris Sabin.
God bless Chris Sabin. He is not Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart.
No. So this is going to be a rough one, but that's the match.
So those are the only other two that had a good match with him, huh?
Yeah. Unless
By and large.
Well, okay. I will be fair and say that Jeff Jarrett had a fine match with him, a 3-star match. But that's number 3. No, actually, this was like a year ago.
Yeah.
It was like a year ago.
It's in TNA, believe it or not.
Sure. But
okay.
I'm thinking that ain't going to happen again. I could be wrong.
Kevin Nash has had many more bad matches than good ones.
Yeah. So then we had the Team 3D interview, James Gang. It was fine. They're mixing comedy with serious promo stuff, thingamajiggers.
And doing their best to plug WWE's pay-per-view.
Yes, they are plugging the ECW pay-per-view,
I'm confused by this concept, but what the hell? Yes, talking about how hardcore is, they're the roots of hardcore, and reminding everyone that hardcore is coming back around in a week or two.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't get it.
The Samoa Joe video package aired. I thought this was awesome.
Oh, God, yes.
I thought he came off as a superstar.
People who say Joe can't talk have no idea.
Well, sometimes I've seen some promos with Joe that I didn't think were that great. This was a good one. This was a damn good one. This was a promo he came off at the level of Scott Steiner, and you wanted to see the match when it was over.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't yell, he doesn't scream, and he doesn't have a catchphrase. He just very calmly
says he's going to kick your ass.
States how and why he's going to kick people's ass, and you sit there and think, my God, he is going to kick their ass, and I want to see it.
You know, we're going to get to this later, but I've got to say that Taz did a better promo than Samoa Joe. I think Taz may have done the best promo of anyone this whole week.
I came in halfway through because I was in the bathroom, but I saw it and I said, this guy looked like he's not, the past 5 years have gone away, and he's back to being a full-time pro wrestler now.
It was a great promo.
He talked about hating the guy. He talked about why he wanted to kick his ass.
He challenged him.
Yes, and it said where and when he wanted to kick his ass, and that
he was going to kick his ass.
And he was going to kick his ass. And
that covers all the things.
It did.
Everything. Who, what, where, when, why.
Yes.
And the when is very important.
It was very short, it was very simple, and it was extraordinarily effective. So I give a huge thumbs up to Taz this week. Then we had the AJ Styles and Chris Daniels meeting with Larry Zbyszko. They said they had a way to neutralize Gail Kim, so they're going to have another tag match at the pay-per-view. And I guess another woman's coming in or something. Or a midget. I don't know how you neutralize Gail Kim.
I don't know.
Gail Kim is
The Korean girl?
The hot Asian you were...
I kept... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Nails was all over her last night.
Nails like the neutralizer.
Yeah. So then we had the... Oh, by the way, the new Director of Authority shows up soon. It will be James E. Cornette, for those of you concerned.
They said at the pay-per-view, I think.
Well, they said maybe tonight.
That's
or
true,
at the
that's
pay-per-view.
true. Slate Johnson came in and implied you never know.
I was like, as a betting man, put no money on him showing up tonight. The Spanish announcers... Actually, it was Borash trying to interview them, and Conan basically said, get the fuck out of here, Homicide is going to cut you. That was pretty much his exact
Almost,
words.
yeah. He said, Homicide cut him if he gets too close or something. And Homicide stepped up, and I thought, oh shit, he's going to get cut.
And Borash ran for his life. He was the perfect man to do this deal here.
Yes, and another great job by Conan.
Yes, Conan's great. Jeff Jarrett and Raven, King of the Mountain qualifying match. Nails, your thoughts on that one?
Raven's another Walking Dead guy.
He is, in fact.
He looks like he needs some new hips, and he also looks like death.
I don't like to use that term because so many wrestlers do die, but he looks like a corpse lately.
He looks like he has some medical issues.
You mentioned many times, like they went to the cemetery and dug up a corpse and stuck him in the ring, and that was Raven.
He, in fact, has had some medical issues. He's looking very pale. He's very large.
Diabetic or something?
Well,
he's got
thyroid
problems
issues.
from years of assorted drug use.
Yes, he's very open about this. He took drugs for many, many years, and it fucked his whole body up. So
that's all. Yeah, really.
He's attempting to recover from that, but he does not look healthy. I will give him that, but it's kind of funny because sometimes guys that don't look healthy live a lot longer than guys that do look very healthy and just suddenly spontaneously croak.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot in this business, and there are many reasons for that, but basically they had a match, and it was fine. It was, the finish, I will say the finish was just too much of a clusterfuck. I know what they wanted to do. It was just, you could have done it easy. They had to do it hard.
It looked like they switched off the finish about 4 different times.
Well, they did.
I vaguely recall Zbyszko being out there.
What it is nowadays is, in the old days, you could just do the fuck finish. Now you've got to do 4 fuck finishes,
yes.
So you swerve people into thinking that each fuck finish is the one that's going to end the match, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but it just ended the same if they would have just done one messed up finish.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Exactly. And you could drive around in 5 circles or just drive around in a circle once, and they choose to go 5 times.
Yes, TNA has now mastered the art of the false fuck finish.
Yes. So anyway, that was that, and Jeff Jarrett won. Amazingly, he is in the King of the Mountain match.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised.
Yeah. So I guess it'll be Raven. Who is Raven facing?
Larry,
okay. So Larry and Raven probably at the pay-per-view. But it was per the standards of TNA, this was a pretty good show. I have seen far worse shows.
I guess. Their standards have gotten higher in the past month or so.
Well, the opening segment I liked. AM Naturals was fine. Alex Shelley and Jay Lethal had some comedy. Great promo by Samoa Joe. And the Jarrett Raven was a good main event, so I can't give that a thumbs down.
No, that's a thumbs in the middle.
It was a fine little show, so that was... And then we watched Impact. Tony, I believe, watched about 20 minutes and then just quit.
Oh, when they kill me with Sting right up front.
You're not a Sting fan, are you?
Oh God, no. He's a horrible wrestler, and I think he's horrible on the mic, and well, he helped kill WCW, and
there are many, many, many men you can blame more than Sting for that.
Yes, I guess part of it, I think I've said this before, but part of it on WCW was he got into that Crow, started getting into the Crow.
Tony never forgives a man for something like this.
And it was like a year. I swear I was watching it for a year, them build up this nothing match.
Well, it actually was a year about, yeah.
It was the most successful pay-per-view in WCW history.
Yeah, they did make a lot of money with it.
But yes, he did not wrestle for a straight year. What about Scott Steiner?
Oh, I don't have a problem with beating you up!
It's a great man.
I watched him pie face somebody. I finally figured out what that was.
That is, yes.
You didn't know what a pie face was?
Well, there was another one, a Google, or what was it? He's gonna something in pie face.
A goozle?
A goozle?
Goozle, yeah, what the hell's a goozle?
Well, just if I throttled you, I'd be goozling you.
Goozle's when you grab someone by the throat with one hand.
You just with one hand.
That's
Any sort of goozle, any sort of grabbing a man and throttling him is a goozle.
Okay.
It's an all-over word.
I don't have a problem with beating you up.
Scott Steiner does not have a problem with beating you up, Nails.
That is certainly true.
The first match was Sting and Scott Steiner. It was... The reports were this was better... This could have been worse, I guess, were the reports. It was okay, but it exposed Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
Thus, it was not a success.
No, it was that. Yeah, it could have been worse. It was not a disaster, but nor was it any good.
No, it was...
absolute fucking bullshit.
What it was just a match where when it was over, it's like, Scott Steiner's old. You didn't want to think that just a week before the pay-per-view where he's going to face Samoa Joe. So, yeah, and then afterwards, it was a DQ finish when 8 million men ran in. Let's see if I can go over all of this here.
Good luck.
Sting and Steiner. Ref took a bump. Jarrett hit the ring attack Sting. Second ref in. Sting kicked out. Jarrett killed the second ref. Jarrett attacked Sting. Ref called for the bell. Then we had Abyss in. Then Ron Killings made a comeback.
That's right.
Then Jarrett was in. Then Christian was in. Then Steiner was in there cutting a promo. Anyway, just shit kept going on and on and on.
1,000 men came in. I remembered that Sting won by DQ. I don't remember how. And I remember they had all the participants in the King of the Mountain match out there. And I remember thinking that Ron Killings is the most over man in this group, and they're not doing anything with him.
Here's the problem with the show. At the end of the hour, and today, if I did not have notes, I couldn't remember one thing on the show except Joe and Steiner had a confrontation.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember a fucking single thing.
I think that's the thing that confused me. Well, the whole first 20 minutes confused me. I was going, for most of them, I kind of go, you kind of look at it and go, he's the good guy, he's the bad guy, but then I see Sting bite him, and I see a few other things, and then all that other shit happened, and I still don't know what the main event is until Joe kind of...
And that's not the main event, by the way. It's just an undercard match.
Well,
sorry.
Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
It seems to be what they think is the draw, so that's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't think this... I think this was mentioned off the air. I don't think he'll get mad at me for saying this, but... Lance Storm today was talking about TNA, and he goes, I haven't watched the show, but I went to my wrestling school today, and I asked the kids if they'd seen it, and they said yes, and I said, well, what was on it? And there was a pause, and they all answered, I don't remember. So it's
good.
It's not just me, it's not just Vince, it's not just Tony. This is a worldwide, international deal now. Nobody has any idea what's going on IMPACT. So if anybody from IMPACT or TNA is listening, this needs to be remedied immediately. Because it seems
they have no wrestling history of how, there's a certain formula that you go by to build up whatever you're going to try to sell the big money to. And they don't seem to be doing it.
Yeah.
Tony
whatever
hates
that formula
wrestling,
is,
folks.
I don't know it. I just know I've been taken in by it as when I was a kid. So this stuff would not take me in.
This is not selling pay-per-views, Nails, to you?
No. Confusing me? No. I'm not that dumb of a guy, but,
Did you happen to see Kevin Nash out there?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
He's an old man. Every time we talk about him, I always say that.
You would not turn it off yet. Sanjay Dutt faced a man. We believe this man was Jarrell Clark, but they never introduced him. This was actually a backdrop for Conan coming out and flipping out about Mexicans being underutilized, no Hispanics on the show. Racism. The funny thing is, I think Conan really believes all this.
He very well might.
It's part of the reason it's so passionate, but...
Well, there was a lucha guy actually during that match, right?
No.
Not really.
No.
Well, what he was claiming was using lucha, I believe, right?
Yeah. Well, his claim is that the whole X division is a ripoff of lucha,
which is an angle they already did 2 years ago,
and
maybe
which
3.
is basically true, by the way. It's all
Well, sure.
But actually, now we're gonna get people bitching that that's not true. But anyway, let's just move on here. So. Then afterwards, where was Kevin Nash, now that I'm looking at this thing here? Oh, Nash was doing a pie chart in the back with Alex Shelley. And Everything Nash does is funny.
Yes.
It's killing the X Division, and it's going to kill it even worse on Sunday. I just want you all to know in advance. But the whole deal was in a pie chart, and the pie chart was determining the 3 keys to life, one of which was beating Chris Sabin. And I thought, what has your life become, Kevin Nash? Your 3 keys to life used to be getting laid, making money, and...
Booze?
Sure. There may have actually been only 2 keys to life. Now one of them is beating Chris Sabin. So life gets rough when you enter your mid-40s, apparently, and you're 8 feet tall and broken down. But, I mean, he was funny, but...
I just like how he had a plan that was step 1, 2, and 3, and somehow taken steps 1, 2, and 3 and made a pie chart out of them.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Then we had Team Canada, Chris Sabin, and Kip James, and BG James, and a 6-man, and there's no bigger channel changer than that Team Canada music. Yeah. None. Absolutely nothing in this world.
It's a sign saying nothing exciting or important is about to happen.
Yep. They had
Yeah, if the Canadians aren't heels, then they should be just wrestlers.
Well, they're heels. Although...
Or sorry, I said that backwards. Sorry.
If they're not baby faces, they should just be wrestlers.
I just can't take a Canadian seriously as a heel for some
as a
reason.
Foreign evil threat.
Well, you never hung out with Tim Flowers, although he is an American.
They're happy neighbors to the north. Come on.
These men aren't. This was
very unhappy.
This is just a match, nothing spectacular. The funny thing was there was a lot of heat during the heat, and then when BG or Kip James made the comeback, the place just got quiet. I was like, well, something went wrong.
Well, what amused me was the entire match seemed to be built around the New Age Outlaws elevating Chris Sabin.
Are you walking back towards the house, Nails?
No, didn't move. There we go.
There we
was
go.
That a solar flare?
Apparently you did
at night.
Move.
Anyway, the whole match
there
seemed
can
to be
in fact
designed...
be solar flares at night.
Really?
The sun doesn't really go down; it goes around the Earth.
That's on the other side of the Earth. So solar flare. Okay, I'm not a.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole match seemed to be built around the Outlaws elevating Chris Sabin, and I'm thinking he's already above you guys.
Well, he won't be for long. So.
Well, yeah, but the Outlaws are so stale. They for a team that's only been back together again for 6 months or less, I'm already done with them and over it.
I predict this segment, this quarter, lost viewers.
Oh, I think that's safe to say.
We'll find out on Monday. Christy Hemme bounced out.
Thank God for Christy Hemme.
Did splits in a thong, whole 9 yards. She had a message for Dawn. It was not her phone number, sadly. It was the announcement we'd see Joe versus Steiner at the pay-per-view. And it was also noted that the new Director of Authority will be there on Sunday. And for those of you wondering who the new Director of Authority is going to be in TNA, I will give you a little hint.
I just want to tell you what a fucking miserable fucking piece of shit you are, you goddamn no-good cocksucker.
Jim Cornette.
And hopefully he will cut a promo like that when he arrives.
He may. He may say, look at, you know what I see here in this promotion?
Fuck you, you fucking goose.
Probably not. But I do love that drop.
I will never get tired of that one either.
I love this drop because it reminds me of you.
This fucking fat motherfucker.
Oops.
Dare you.
Fuck you, you fucking goose.
You can use that one all you want.
We need to get this shoot and just watch the whole damn thing.
You fucking goose.
I love Cornette, but he'll be there on Sunday, kids, but he will not be cutting that promo. He will be much more tame. TNA has put the axe down on profanity.
Maybe, for those of you who have that shoot promo, when Cornette comes out on Sunday, or a week from Sunday, mute the TV and play that promo.
The one thing was sucking Vince Russo's cock all those goddamn years.
I like that one. The funniest thing about that one is he's about to say motherfucking and he stops himself. He doesn't want to break down into too much profanity. Listen.
Well, that's
The
very
one thing
offensive.
was sucking Vince Russo's cock all those goddamn years.
All those goddamn ears. He didn't want to throw in one extra fucking in there. It was overkill.
This fucking fat motherfucker.
Oops, wrong one.
The one thing was sucking Vince Russo's cock all those goddamn years.
I love that. He did not want to throw in one extra fuck. That would have been one fuck too many for Jim Cornette. I love these. Anyway.
Was that the end of the show?
Yeah, that's the end,
Christy
Nails.
Hemme coming out and giving that wonderful news.
Announcing that Joe and Steiner will be at the pay-per-view and everyone going crazy.
It actually got a big reaction, so.
It's the only thing...
It's the only thing anyone cares about.
Yeah, really. And they were totally into the pull apart, too.
And they have no faith in it, so it's over Sunday, probably.
Oh, the feud?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it will be, but yeah, it's the crowd they try to cheer and they try to get into it. They know what they're supposed to cheer for. They kind of play along, and then Joe and Steiner comes out and it's like, hey, we really care about this. Something cool is actually happening. And that's when they get excited.
Yeah.
It's all for Joe.
Is this always in the same place?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've done every show. Well, they have done some house shows. Every TV show in this building for the past year and a half.
Ever since they've been on Spike TV and before that. So
Is that not kill an area?
You know, strangely enough, it doesn't. Well, here's the thing with killing an area. You can kill any area, or if you can not kill an area. Somebody please make a drop out of that immediately. Here's what I'm trying to say. You know, Arena Coliseo in Mexico.
I'm sure Tony's very familiar with it.
I was looking at you.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yes, they draw thousands of people every week. Tens of thousands.
Where's Jim Cornette to describe you?
Fuck you fucking goose!
Let me start over again. You know Arena Coliseo in Mexico?
Yes, Brian.
Okay. EMLL built that building in like the 40s. And they've been running in that building all this time. In Arena Mexico, they run there every single week without fail. They draw 14,000 people, sometimes 17,000 people in Arena Mexico every single solitary week. So, sure, you can kill an area if you put on a shitty product and drive the people out.
This is the key. Shitty.
If you give the people what they want, they'll just keep coming back every week. Just cycle through the stars. I say recycle because EMLL's been
certainly done a fair share of that.
Guys for 25 years, but just keep going through different programs and keeping people happy. It's just sort of like, we sit in our house and watch Raw every week. They're drawing the same people in the same building, basically.
Is Super Porky there?
Porky is, in fact, down in EMLL, yes.
Well, then that's the reason.
Nails, you've got you should at least tape the Galavision, so if Porky's on there, you can watch his match. Or the Guerrero Style Ring. It's on Sunday mornings at like 7:30 a.m. on channel...
Canal 52.
Canal 52, which is like some station.
It's not 52?
I saw a picture of him, and I swear he's getting bigger.
Oh, he's enormous.
Which I didn't think was possible, he's just getting rounder.
He's like a black hole, absorbing all mass in his immediate area.
It's like he's getting pumped up. It's like they've hooked him up to one of those things that fills your tire with air.
An air pump.
Sure, an air pump. I hate you. I'll turn you down for a second.
Forgive me for being right. I'm sorry.
I needed a break there for a second. I also wanted to say goodbye to Tony, and I didn't want you to jump in with talk of air pumps or whatever you might. I don't know. Nails, thanks for being on the show, dude.
Bye, Tony.
You didn't watch SmackDown tonight since you were working on T-shirts, so we're going to do that one without you.
Alrighty.
All right, so we'll talk to you in a couple days or something of that nature.
All right.
All right, ciao, dude.
Bye.
Okay.
We annoyed Tony. And
Okay, so we now are moving on to the TNA show. Nails, your thoughts overall? Actually, you didn't really watch much of this show. It was just
there.
sort of on in the background.
Yeah, I was working on some code.
Nails would rather process
it did not
computer
capture...
code than watch iMPACT.
Well, if you remember right, I tried to get you to go home and forget about the TNA show.
You did. You tried to kick us out of the house at midnight, and I was like, no, we've got another show we need to watch. And
I honestly, right now, don't remember it. I'll start talking about it.
Well, I don't remember much of it either, but I have notes, thankfully.
I remember there was a horrible show, except for about a minute and a half that was just fantastic 5-star stuff.
I remember...
the midget thing.
That's not what I was thinking of, actually.
That was not what we were thinking of, but that was... We'll let you talk about the midget when we get to it there, Nails. I do remember the first thing you said was, if the first guy... I asked you, are you coming over to watch the pay-per-view on Sunday? And your response was, if the first guy I see in the ring is Sting, the answer is no. And the first guy in the ring ended up being Truth. Or Christian, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the second man ended up being Sting. So I suspect you're not coming over Sunday, but you never know. So the opening of the show was just setting up the King of the Mountain match, that sort of thing. It was nothing special. And then we had a Nash and Elix Shelley deal, which was nothing special, except Nash is a funny guy.
Nash is a damn funny man.
You cannot deny that. Then we had Elix Skipper and David Young versus the Naturals, which Naturals lost yet again, and they did the big angle with Shane Douglas where he took them under his wing. And there will be people that complain because they brought in Chris Candido into this angle, who has, in fact, passed on and that sort of thing. But this was a very spirited promo by Shane Douglas. Mm-hmm. I got to give this promo a thumbs up.
Oh, Shane Douglas is the man.
He did a tremendous job.
I still say I would rather watch him do backstage interviews than manage the Naturals, but
yes,
but between that and this promo, which was so awesome.
The thing is, the Naturals are going to get no rub from Shane Douglas. People are just going to realize how awesome Shane Douglas is.
And how much the Naturals still suck.
There's just nothing to these poor guys. So
did the Naturals do a local show here?
Yes, they did.
They did, in fact, work Matt Farmer.
Is it the one that you guys
yes.
was just torn apart?
They wrestled Matt Farmer and Chris Del Sol in the worst match I've ever seen live.
Okay, I was just wondering.
It was bad. It was very bad. And they've been just the Naturals for like 3 years now and have not gotten any better. Or any more exciting or any more charismatic. And they're just two guys. And doesn't matter who you pair them with. Doesn't matter who's in the corner. Doesn't matter who's interfering in the big spots. They're just the Naturals, and they still suck.
Then we had the highlight of the show, which Nail's going to disagree about, but it's true. Scott Steiner. Steiner cut a promo on Samoa Joe. He hates the fact that the man is called Samoa Joe. He called him a half-breed and a little fat bastard. And I thought, this is just fantastic television.
This was the moment I was thinking of, but I was thinking on both sides of it because it was going back and forth between the Steiner promo and the Joe promo.
It was a long video package.
And both guys were awesome.
Yeah, Joe was really good, but I mean Steiner was just awesome.
we talked about before. Steiner's the only really star.
Shut up, Jeff!
We don't have any of his new ones, unfortunately, but yes.
I got to download the new ones.
Shut up, Jeff! Shut up, Jeff!
But yeah, Scott Steiner's the only real star that TNA has, and just flexing and talking about his vein.
No, he's not the only star. Joe. They're the only two stars.
Okay, but we talked before how Steiner's the only, I don't know, maybe star is the wrong word, but the super over-the-top personality.
He's the only one that really scares you.
That may be it.
I don't know what you're looking for, but he's one of the guys. He's a money player.
Yes.
Shut up, Jeff!
You know what's funny about that drop? Listen carefully to the very beginning.
Shut up, Jeff!
Jeff Jarrett sounds exactly like you.
Shut up, Jeff! Shut up, Jeff!
God.
Doesn't it?
Wow.
He sounds exactly like
I
you.
have no idea.
Anyway,
Talk about Bryan.
sorry. So, yeah, that was good stuff. And then we're going to get to the part Nails want to talk about. Nails, go for it. Nash and the fake Chris Sabin, the midget.
It was, what was it, Mr. X?
It was something of
That's
that
what they
nature.
called him, yes.
It was a masked midget.
It was great. They set up a whole bunch of spots where Nash either got down on his knees or even onto a chair to deliver a boot.
Yes.
The chair-assisted big boot, where Kevin Nash has now gotten so lazy he will not even stand to kick a man in the face. He will sit down and hold his foot out and let the midget run into it. That was awesome.
I don't remember all the spots, but I just remember going, this is just so weird, it's awesome.
It's so funny because the idea is this is going to help the X Division. All it's done is got Nash over and made the X Division a joke. And we all knew it going in, but every time I watch it, it becomes more apparent. He has turned the whole division into comedy, and he's the only cool one.
Yeah, that's largely true.
It's incredible. He's an incredible man.
I feared much worse still when
just wait till Sunday.
Well, if he kills Chris Sabin, then he'll be dead for sure. But I expected to be coming out and killing men every week. And
I would give Chris Sabin a 1% chance of winning. And I would give this chance a 0% chance of being any good.
Oh, I agree with that one for sure.
Because Nash is absolutely beyond immobile. And he ain't going to be sitting in chairs and doing spots in this match with Sabin.
No.
And the other thing was, I know Nails was thinking of this, but he just didn't mention it. Perhaps he forgot about it. I hope this midget ain't listening. He's wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. But it looked like a Roswell alien was underneath this mask. Is it just me?
No, he was a very unusual man.
He had these eyes.
He had some bug eyes under there.
He had some bug eyes, and for a very short man, he had a very long neck. This was not Finley's midget. He was just a small man. No.
This was a very
unique human being.
It was the eyes. I kept thinking that's an alien looking at me there.
His big, shiny, bright eyes and the killer overbite.
I didn't notice any of that. I just noticed the giant eyes.
Was it looking at you?
Yeah, he kept looking at me. I was like, God, this guy's going to come in my window and take me up to a flying saucer tonight or something like that.
Did that happen?
I don't know.
Your ass hurt?
Were you probed?
I wouldn't know about this until I'd have to undergo hypnosis.
You better
or something.
see a doctor or something.
By the way, Nails, I want you to go home tonight and ask your wife about the time she was abducted by an alien.
Okay.
Have you ever heard this story?
Yeah, but you know what she was doing?
No.
Acid?
She was painting in a small little bathroom. She was painting with nail polish on a piece of paper.
I don't know what story you're talking about now.
Yeah, she said she saw a UFO or something, but what I think it was she was painting with toxic nail polish in a tiny little room, and with that the bottle open.
Don't tell me that. There's a very strong paint smell in this room right now. No, there's another story where she woke up and there was like a handprint on her or something like that, and she determined that aliens had taken her and brought her back.
She may not tell me these stories because I just make fun of her.
That could very well be. We'll have to...
What a lovely relationship you two have. What a model marriage.
Well, it really is, but... So anyway, then we had the main event, which was Chris Daniels, AJ Styles, Raven, and Rhino versus Bobby Roode, Monty Brown, and AMW. Keep in mind, the main event is Slammiversary. There's two of them. There's Joe versus Steiner, and there's the King of the Mountain match. And what did they have for the main event of this fucking show?
8 random goofs.
8 random men doing moves. That's all this was. And the best part was the finish of the match, if I can find it here.
This sounds like an ICW match. The main event.
Kind of, actually.
It was. Gail Kim hit the ring and did some spot with Chris Daniels, and then Monty Brown pounced Chris Daniels for the pin.
Yes. Yeah,
Monty
that's right.
Brown is not in the King of the Mountain match, and Chris Daniels and AJ Styles are not facing Monty Brown at the pay-per-view, so there was no reason for this finish to take place.
Nope. In fact,
Absolutely none.
to my knowledge, Monty Brown is not even on the pay-per-view.
He's not.
And Chris Daniels will be challenging for the tag team titles in the undercard.
That's right.
So now the whole pay-per-view looks worse, and there's no build for either of the main events.
This was the most thumbs down main event I've seen in some time.
Oh, God, yes.
So they really didn't even have the main event guys there.
No, they were early on in the show, and they just went home.
Great.
Then Goofs came out. So
Goofs came out to finish the
So
show.
who is the actual main event? Now that I watched the whole show and I still don't know.
it's that wacky King of the Mountain match.
There's 5 guys
The
in the main
reverse
event.
ladder match with the wacky penalty box.
With the rules that I will never forget, Scott Hudson said with a straight face, it's really very simple.
Did you read the thing in the news
Yes,
update
and
Dory
the
Funk
Dory
wrote?
Funk deal.
He wrote about 94 lines trying to explain what the rules of this match were. And I thought,
I
Jesus.
can't believe they haven't just dumped this thing
And
yet.
there's how many guys in this match? You said
5.
5.
5 men.
Oh, so it's going to be 5 men doing moves for 45
Yes,
minutes.
in fact it is.
And which means that at all times there'll either be a double team going on or one guy just hanging out with nothing to do.
And this is where we put a belt on top of something.
You
No,
got to take
no.
the belt.
The belt will be on the ground, and you've got to climb a ladder and hang it up.
Right,
It's
okay.
a reverse ladder match. Very innovative, Nails. Perhaps the problem is you. You don't understand the innovation of
But
this.
also, before you hang the belt, you have to pin somebody.
Yes.
What?
Don't even worry about it, Nails.
And then there's the penalty box.
There is a penalty box.
It's the most ludicrously complicated wrestling match that could ever be.
Hockey?
No.
Sadly, no. I like hockey.
Although, ironically, there may be a hockey stick involved, I would think. But anyway, Nails. You know, Vince, you were late today.
I was late today.
And at first, I was filled with anger. And then Brent showed up. And I was glad to see you.
I can imagine. I don't.
Think about that.
Yeah, being.
Normally, when you're an hour and a half late for a pay-per-view that I know we're going to have to recap, which means, of course, if we're going to talk about the pay-per-view for 45 minutes, that means you're useless for exactly 20 of those 45 minutes.
Yes.
Normally, that raises my ire.
Well, as it turns out, I was at a Father's Day activity, and I mentioned my sister at 7. She drove me out there. So it's not what you make, it's what you save. So I made her drive me out to DuPont tonight.
See, at least you're learning.
Yeah. And I said at 7, hey, we need to get going. She said, okay, 5 more minutes. And I said, okay. Well, we left at 8:05. So, yes, I left just late enough to piss you off.
Yeah.
And just early enough to piss off everyone else in my family. So it was a great compromise wherein everyone hates me.
What time did you all get there for this thing?
1.
That makes me actually hate your whole family. You got there at 1 o'clock for Father's Day festivities, and the fact that you left at 8 o'clock in the evening...
I was too early. They wanted to stay
7
longer.
hours later.
Mm-hmm. And I said,
Listen.
how did it go? And she says, why are you always busy?
Listen, I'm all for Father's Day's festivities. I spent some time with my father today, about an hour. That was fine for both of us. and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to push my lifestyle on you or anything like that, but 7 hours with your family, and that's not enough.
I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about watching TNA either. I wanted to be at home today.
Oh, my God.
This is...
I don't think you've got anything to add, Brent.
No. Brent,
I spent Father's Day with my family.
I'll give him the mic for a second.
Don't touch it.
We gave you the mic so you'd speak, so how about you say something?
Well, I had a Father's Day dinner with my parents, my sister, my cousins, my grandfather. So basically, there were 3 fathers there. We got there about was it 6? Yeah, I think it was 6. Yeah, 6 o'clock, and I didn't say anything about the pay-per-view. We ended about 8:05. My parents gave me a ride over here, and I got here at 8:30. We had a nice time.
I gave you the mic
for me.
I gave you the mic for that.
Yeah, Father's Day is good. It was good to spend the day with the family, and Vince spent 7 hours, and that's way too much.
Okay. At least you had a point to that
Thank
big.
God,
rant
he somehow tied that into our conversation.
Oh, Jesus. We watched a TNA pay-per-view, and what is there to say about it? I guess I've got to sort of start this whole thing off. Actually, Vince watched the first match. So
I went back and I watched the first match and fast forward and a good portion of the second. Enough to see probably the greatest moment of the whole night. But
well, of what you have seen thus far, what would you say you would give this pay-per-view? A thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle?
From what I've seen, a mild thumbs down. Joe and Steiner was very good. Other than that, I was not terribly impressed by anything.
Well, it was I don't know. We'll get to the main event, and actually we might as well just jump right ahead of the main event right now, because that's the big news on the show. This was actually a newsworthy show, but I don't know what to make of the news yet. It was a King of the Mountain match, which is a match with very complicated rules. I could go over them here, but it's pointless, because...
Well, all you need to know is that throughout the main event, Brent was asking us why they were pinning each other and what the box was for.
Brent had
how do you win?
No idea what was going on, and
to be fair,
I'm not actually blaming you, Brent, for being an idiot.
No.
I'm saying that you're a casual fan, and tuning in, you had no idea what was going on, even as the match continued. There was rampant confusion in this house. And I should note that you probably had way more questions, but I just pretty much stopped listening to you.
We were making a deliberate point to avoid actually speaking to you. So it's not entirely your fault.
Every few minutes I would just hear you make comments, and I had long since blocked you out of my mind. But the whole deal was, to make a long story short, you had to hang the belt up. So they had this match that there was crowd brawling, there were wacky pinfalls, there was dives, dudes got in a penalty box and came out of it. Anyway, to make a long story short, it came down to Jeff Jarrett getting locked in the box. And once you're in the box, you got to be in there for 2 minutes. He came out with 23 seconds left. He was a cheater.
Yes.
This did not, however, immediately lead to the finish. Had he come out 23 seconds later, nothing would have changed. But let's just forget that part. So he came back into the match, and a bunch of malarkey ensued. It ended up with Jeff Jarrett on the mat, Christian and Sting on the ladder, brawling over the belt. They'd been working together earlier, mind you. Now they hated each other. They wanted to hang the belt up. And who should tip the ladder over but Earl Hebner? It is 2006, and Earl fucking Hebner is still screwing people. This angle will never end.
No, and it will never be entertaining again either.
So the ladder fell over, and both guys fell outside, and Jarrett grabbed the belt and started climbing the ladder. And suddenly, a water bottle flew through the air and hit him. And I thought, a fan just threw a water bottle at Jeff Jarrett. And then there was another water bottle, and another, and soon, if I did not know any better, I would think that there were 1,500 plants in the crowd that had all been given water bottles. The only thing I can think is, could that many people have actually got bottled water that night? It seemed a little contrived. But there was some vociferous hate. I don't think you could have convinced all these fans to grab water bottles and throw them at Jeff Jarrett when he won the belt. I think they just happened to give out a lot of water bottles and somebody figured this out.
Yeah, it may have been a hot day in Orlando.
Sure. But suffice to say, the ring was pelted with water bottles as Jeff Jarrett went up and grabbed the belt. He climbed down. Everybody there had been a chant, "We will riot," earlier in the evening.
Yes.
And there was a serious chance of a riot here.
Jeff Jarrett had the "I'm getting the fuck out of here right now" expression on his face as he climbed down the ladder.
He was beckoning to Earl Hebner to get the hell out of Dodge.
One of these bottles will be glass at some point.
Sure. So as he's running to the back, out comes another referee who grabbed the belt away from him and took it up the ramp and gave it to the new Director of Authority, James E. Cornette, who did a promo earlier in the night saying, "No more bullshit." So the show ended...
Almost his exact words.
Sure. The show ended with Cornette holding the belt in his hand, and Jeff Jarrett was on his knees begging, I guess, to...
Actually, he just screamed no, grabbed his head over and over again.
He was doing something. But here's the whole thing. I don't know what kind of heat this was yet. I don't know if this was great NWO-style heat early on, where this was actually money-drawing heat and people were throwing bottles and garbage, or if this was the, fuck this, we're done with this promotion heat. Because, really, someone spoiled this for me. I will not mention any names, but I got an IM and they said, "So how's the pay-per-view? What do you think of Jarrett as the new champ?" And I thought, well...
Fuck this guy.
I know that answer now. But the point was, when I heard that, all I thought was, why?
No one knows.
It's 2006. Why?
I don't know.
I do not have a good answer. And so I thought, this makes no sense. So I think, and another thing to think about is maybe this reaction will cause him to rethink this idea.
Well,
but I don't know if that'll be in a positive. Maybe the idea was, this could be one of many things. Perhaps the idea was they're going to put the belt on Jeff. And this reaction, once they saw this reaction, they're going to decide maybe that's not such a good idea. Or perhaps the idea was they were going to overturn the decision, but now that they saw this heat, they've decided it's money-drawing heat, and they're going to put the belt on him after all. There are many ways this could go, and I don't have the answer. I don't know what kind of heat it was. I really don't know anything. We see you beckoning, Brent. You're the only other person in the room. Just relax for a second.
My intuition here is that the idea is people will fear that Jarrett is the champion, and they're hoping people will tune in on Thursday to find out if that's true. That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking. Could what happened change what they were going to do?
Well, stranger things have happened. We'll see. But I believe Mr. Kremen has something to say.
Where's Stanley Blackburn when you need him? I think he's 6 feet under, isn't he?
Thank you, Brent. I need a good drop for Brent right about now.
Fuck you, you fucking goose!
That will do.
Sadly, he cannot hear these drops.
That makes it better.
Brent, this is a drop of Jim Cornette saying, "You're a great man."
Fuck you, you fucking goose!
Perhaps you'll be able to hear this later on if you listen to this show. But that's pretty much the promo that Jim Cornette cut. He said,
"Fuck you, you fucking goose!"
He said he was not going to put up with any,
this fucking fat motherfucker.
And that sort of thing. That was really what he said.
It pretty much was. He was unhappy about a lot of things, and
You're a goddamn idiot. You're a fucking moron.
That actually may have been in there at some point.
I keep thinking of Brent when I hit these drops.
I don't know why that is, but play the last one again.
I'm gonna tell you what a fucking miserable fucking piece of shit you are, you goddamn no good cocksucker.
What was that, Brent?
He did. Play not the last one, the one right before that.
I think that would have been this one.
You're a goddamn idiot.
That's
You're a fucking moron.
That's the one. That's the one where I was thinking of Brent.
It's not fair that we should play this and not have Brent listen. So, why don't you give Brent your headset, and I will play him this drop here.
Can you explain the Stanley Blackburn?
No, you just put the damn things on and shut the fuck up.
No one gives a shit about Stanley Blackburn, Brent.
Bullshit. There you go. What do you think of that?
I just heard bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Give him back to Vince. Bullshit. That's right. Put those back on there, Vince.
Fuck you, you fucking goose.
Okay, everything is clear now. Everyone is on the level. Everyone knows what's going on and what's being said about them.
Okay, good. Now that we've got that handled. So anyway, that was Cornette's promo. The thing about the Cornette promo was, it was a promo where I thought, if this were true, this would be great.
Yes.
But instead, it's just all an angle.
He's just a character.
He's not going to kick people out. He's not going to do this, that, and the other thing. He does not have the book.
No.
Unfortunately.
The one...
In fact, the proof that he does not have the book was when he came out and he was putting over the AMW versus AJ Styles and Chris Daniels tag match. In 1,000 years, Cornette would have never booked all that bullshit.
No.
In 1,000 fucking years.
Yeah.
That was pretty much your proof right there.
It was a great promo, obviously, because it's Jim Cornette, and that's all he does is great promos. And the only other really key point worth mentioning is when he talked about the key people in TNA, and it was AJ and Daniels and Joe and other people who are not WWE and WCW runoffs. It was new people, so that's good.
What you doing over there, Brent?
Picking lint out of my pocket.
Picking lint out of your pocket.
And where are you putting the lint? Okay. I was making sure you weren't putting it on my floor, because I would have killed you.
Well, I knew. That's why I picked it up. You're a goddamn idiot. You're a fucking moron.
So then we had... I think we're going to go backwards today.
Let's just do the whole show backwards. Why not?
We're going to do the whole show.
Something new just to entertain ourselves.
We're going to do something wacky here today. What are you talking about?
I just said it now for something completely different.
Yes, indeed.
Monty Python reference.
We know it's a Monty Python reference, Brent.
Shut up, Jeff!
Speaking of, Scott Steiner faced Samoa Joe. Everybody knew what this match was. It was a match with awesome promos building up to it.
Shut up, Jeff!
We need some promos. We need more Scott Steiner. Somebody on the board get to it. We need Scott Steiner drops of him. I need the line where he called Joe a half-breed.
Half-breed and a fat little bastard.
A little fat bastard and everything else he called him. I need that promo. So anyway... Brent is just appalled over there. Give him the mic for a second. What are you so appalled about, Brent?
Samoans have a certain build. He doesn't look any different than any other Samoan, so he's saying he's only half Samoan?
Give the mic back to Vince for a second. Brent, this is what I need to explain to you, okay? Give him the mic. He may want to have a rebuttal. All night, Brent, you've been driving us crazy. You want to know why?
What else is new? I always drive you crazy.
Because you've been reading The Observer since how long?
1993?
1993. That's 13 years.
Longer than some of our listeners have been alive.
And you still ask some of the dumbest questions for some reason. I don't know why. What possesses you?
Well, sometimes I'm
Let me give you an example.
Funny.
For example, today you calmly walked in the room here after I'd kicked you out because I was trying to update the website. And you said, Bryan, can I just ask you one question? And I said, what's that, Brent? You said, do you think Vince McMahon is going to give Ric Flair the day off tomorrow to watch Game 7? Did you not ask that question?
Well, of course, because it's in Carolina. He already does the woo whenever the Hurricanes score a goal.
Okay.
And he had 2 weeks off for his honeymoon.
Okay, so
can he have the week off to be at the game?
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you watch Raw?
Most of the time.
Okay, so have you seen what they're doing on Raw with Ric Flair?
Well, I didn't really watch it last week, but I heard that he's doing an angle with Mick Foley. So can they do it next week?
They're in Charlotte on Sunday, Brent. Ric Flair's hometown. And it's Ric Flair versus Mick Foley in Charlotte. So do you really...
they're using the same arena... Oh, okay. It's in Raleigh. Okay, the Hurricanes play in Raleigh. Okay.
The point is, it's this coming Sunday.
Okay.
So you think Vince is going to give Ric Flair the Raw before the pay-per-view off so he can go watch the Carolina Panthers play a fucking game?
Hurricanes. No.
Okay, well, that's the answer to your question. It stunned me that you asked such a question. Because of all people, you hate Vince McMahon more than anyone I know, I believe. And yet you actually, somewhere inside, thought maybe Vince McMahon would give Ric Flair the day off to watch the fucking Hurricanes?
McMahon and Flair have always gotten along. Sometimes he doesn't book Flair very well, but personally I think he respects him and he likes him.
All right. Well, the answer's no.
Okay.
I thought I'd clear that up.
All right.
If I remember any more questions, I'm going to ask you to defend them too, because...
Brent, a lot of people on the board think you're a gimmick. They think you're a work. They think you can't be real. And I'm standing here in the same room with you, listening to everything you say, and I think, you know what? These people are right. This is a work. This man's whole life is a gimmick.
But you know it's not true.
No, I don't think it is now. I think it's true. I'm starting to think Brent's got a lot going on upstairs, and he gets some perverse pleasure out of being Brent Kremen and seeing how the world reacts. It's like a reverse version of the Truman Show.
Give him the mic back.
A number of people have told me that I should write a book, as I've had so many things that have happened in my life, and nobody will believe that they're true. And so I should go and write this fiction book, and at the end of the book I should put, by the way, these stories are all about me and they're all true. And I'm going to do that someday.
And I will publish it for you. and nobody on our board will buy it.
And by the way, some of the comments that I make during the pay-per-views, I just say to get a reaction.
I have noticed that. But the reason I brought that one up was because you went out of your way to come all the way into this room when you knew I was busy to ask this question. Therefore, you legitimately wanted to know the answer. I did. Okay, that's why I had to point that one out. Your stupid questions regarding Scott Steiner and a half-breed, I just totally ignored. I believe that was just you being Brent Kremen.
After you kicked him out of this room for asking a stupid question, he came out into the living room where I was fast-forwarding through the 3D James Gang match, and he didn't want to watch the Dudleys match. And he asked me some question. I had told him to just shut up. I had enough of him by this point. I said, for 10 minutes, Brent, just let me watch this and just be quiet. So he asked me if I still work for a magazine. And I said, Brent, please shut up. And he said, just tell me yes or no. And I said, Brent, fuck you.
I heard that. I thought there was going to be a fight.
Fortunately, Brent shut up. It worked.
Yes.
He did, in fact, go fuck himself. So we were cool after that.
Anyway, I'm going to move on away from you for a minute, Brent. You're not the focus of this show. TNA is. We watched these Scott... By the way, actually, I'm going to give the mic back to you for a second. Do you have any comments of any value on the main event which you watched?
Yeah, when those bottles started to fly in the ring, I thought that was hilarious. I don't hate Jeff Jarrett as much as Bryan and Vince, and I just find them amusing, and I wasn't sure whether that was the reaction that they were looking for that finish. I suspect not, and it'll be interesting to see what they
you have it on pause,
do
you jackass.
At this point.
Go shut it off and turn the volume down.
Oh, and by the way, at the old AWA shows where they that were when they were on ESPN, they had a finish to a match that was controversial, and they had, I believe, a title change, and so Stanley Blackburn would go on TV the next day and would announce that the title change was reversed, and so that would explain my reference from earlier.
Stanley Blackburn.
Thank you for clearing that up for us, Brent, for the youngsters on the board. Steiner and Joe had a match, and we all knew the gimmick going in. Great promos, and not necessarily going to be a good match. I figured it would be short. It was longer than I expected it to be. It was better than I expected it to be. There was a point in the middle where it sort of began to drag. They teased a double count out, and Joe ended up getting back in the ring. He fired up, and they almost botched the finish. Steiner had him in the recliner, and Joe stood up with Steiner on his shoulders. Nearly lost him, but didn't. Dropped him neck first over the ropes, and then hit a fast rotating power slam for the pin. And I give this a thumbs up.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was a thumbs up.
A hearty thumbs up.
Most importantly, say everything you want about Scott Steiner. And I will preface this, by the way, Brent, by saying I don't hate Jeff Jarrett. I just realized Jeff Jarrett he's not what this company needs.
I don't hate Jeff Jarrett.
He's not a world champion.
I recognize the fans do hate Jeff Jarrett.
Yes. But if this were real money drawing Jeff Jarrett heat, they would not have lost $30 million over 4 years. And I'm going to get into something else here in a moment, but let me get on here a little bit farther first. But anyway, the point is they had a good match, and it was a match where, unlike with the Kevin Nash deal, when it was over, it actually felt like Joe had accomplished something in pinning Scott Steiner. And that is saying something, because Scott Steiner should not mean anything in 2006. But somehow he does. And this match helped make Joe.
Yeah.
This was a hearty thumbs up.
Joe was, in the fans' eyes, the number one guy in the company coming into the evening, and he is now higher than he was coming in.
Yes.
So it was good stuff. The match was, awesome is probably too strong, but it was very good. It was, from what I saw, the best match on the show. The fans were totally into it. There were other times in the show where
they were into this before the bell rang.
Yeah. They cared about this match. They cared who won and lost, and they wanted to see it. And there's a lot of times in the show where it seemed like they were hot for the big spots, and other than that, they were kind of cheering because they knew it was what they were supposed to be doing. Not for this time. This was authentic stuff.
Oh, yes.
They felt they had an interest in this match, and the whole thing worked.
Yes.
It was good stuff.
Brent?
This match was well executed. It accomplished its point, and if they're going to bring in WCW has-beens that have nothing left, like Scott Steiner, and I have no idea how he managed to get that degree from University of Michigan. He said that was his greatest accomplishment. The man's as dumb as a rock and not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I have no idea how he managed to get it, but he did. And so this was, if they're going to use guys like that, I suggested to Scott Damore a couple of months ago, this is exactly what they need to do. Is they need to go and use those guys to put over the stars that they have built themselves.
It's a
good job to TNA.
It's a good thing you told Scott Damore that, because it may never have crossed his mind.
Yeah, Steiner may have won if you had not personally told Scott Damore that.
Give the mic to him for a second. Brent, I got to ask you a question. Scott Steiner comes on TV and plays a character, a madman, and I'm sure he's an angry man, but he's playing a character, and he's played a character throughout his entire career.
Terry Taylor.
What?
Didn't he attack Terry Taylor backstage when Taylor told him the finish of the match and he didn't like it? And didn't he get suspended with pay?
Stop. You've been watching the Scott Steiner TV character for a long time. And all you really know about Scott Steiner is his TV character.
No.
Yet he has a degree. So doesn't that suggest that maybe he is smart? What proof?
I think he might have gotten dumber over the years.
What proof?
And I'm making a point about Terry Taylor.
I had to turn you down for a second. You're turned down. So hold on a second. You're interrupting me. Just let me get my point out. What proof do you have that Scott Steiner is dumb? Because the available facts are a degree and a wrestling persona. So I want to know what proof you have that Scott Steiner is stupid.
Well, in the street smart sense, he's not stupid, because he knows, like when he was in WCW, he could do whatever he wanted backstage, and he would get suspended with pay. So in that sense, he's not stupid. In the sense of academically, whether he's stupid, I suppose interviews that he's done, he doesn't sound all that intelligent.
Ironic statement.
I suppose. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking off the top of my head, I don't sound very intelligent. But
nothing gets past you. Go on.
But you just read some of the crazy stuff the guy says, and
you assume he must be a fool.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Give it back to Vince. Glad we got that all cleared up. Let's move on now to we sort of covered the Cornette thing. America's Most Wanted faced AJ Styles and Chris Daniels. The storyline here was that they've lost AJ Styles and Chris Daniels 3 times because of Gail Kim. So tonight they had an insurance policy.
A neutralizer.
But she interfered 4 times, and there was no policy. So I was thinking, you're the dumbest babyface I've ever seen.
Your policy sucks.
So finally, out of nowhere, a being hit the ring. A hominid.
A biped.
I'm not sure.
A large female of indeterminate species.
Well, I was going to say, we do not know female.
I suspect female. Brent seems to know.
I just know that the only purpose that I can think of her on the show is she must be appealing to the lesbian demographic for the TNA pay-per-view audience.
That could very well be. This woman was the creature in the Patterson film. A large beast with pendulous breasts. I can think of no better way to describe this individual.
Okay, that's the funniest thing you've ever said.
I'm glad you both agree. I wish we had a webcam right now to show Brent gyrating. It's the only way I can describe the actions that is. Anyway, so she came out of the crowd and she hit the ring and she abducted Gail Kim, took her to the backstage.
Do you need some water or something?
Continue with the show.
Okay.
For those of you wondering, Brent's laughing right now. We've been accused of making fun of Brent until he cries. That's not what happens. Brent's laughing.
Brent is laughing. Would you like to...
But he's laughing until he cries. That's possible.
Jesus.
Now he's walking. What are you doing?
So...
Don't be behind... Okay. Okay, do that.
Good luck. Great.
Because Lord knows. Oh, never mind. So yes, the tag team match.
I need to find a...
You're a goddamn idiot. You're a fucking moron.
They had a match, and it was everything I hate about TNA. They had run-ins, they had interference, they had chair shots, They had people actually hitting the ring and abducting members of the entourage. And the thing is with TNA, sometimes things are legal and sometimes they're not. Like, if you knock out the ref, that's not a DQ. If you jump into the ring and steal a manager, that's not a disqualification. If you leave the fucking penalty box 18 seconds early, they can confiscate your title. So the rules are very odd in TNA, but this was just like it's just too much. It was a clusterfuck. And like I said, it was the exact kind of match that Jim Cornette would never have booked.
Mm-hmm.
This was a match with AJ Styles and Chris Daniels and AMW that those 4 guys in the ring should have a much better match.
Yeah.
This was like 3.25 stars, maybe.
That's a little high, I think.
Well,
You could tell they wanted it to be that good. They were trying to get the near falls, and some of them worked. But by and large, it was not as good as I think they thought it would be going in. But
this match suffered from the TNA curse of just every match has to have everything.
yes.
And so, this was match number 5. They'd already seen Nash and Sabin, the X Division match with 6 guys doing every spot in the book. The Scott Damore Bobby Roode match where you had a manager getting beat up. You had the opener, which had blood, tables, chairs,
Cheese
and
grater.
The only thing it didn't have was fire, and the fans wanted that.
Yes, the fans were not satisfied with it. We'll get to that.
What was that?
That was actually it's Beavis.
You
It's also 2006.
You sounded like a bird. Let's just ignore Brent. I wish I could turn you down. When you're not on the mic, I can't turn the volume down. I just want to turn you down. Anyway, so yeah, it's just too much. Just too much.
Yeah, they tried hard. The finish was awesome, but it was not a classic like they thought.
And
it would
really,
be.
the finish wasn't even awesome. It was just they went nuts for it. It was a double. It was AJ hitting a great frog splash and Daniels hitting a moonsault, and they pinned the guy, and the place just erupted like the world titles had been won at WrestleMania. But it was like it didn't have that heat leading up to this.
No,
I mean there were points where it was just silent.
Yes.
And then they just went crazy for the finish. I don't know why.
Again, there was points where
that's why I gave it 3.25.
Yeah,
because seriously, something had to have worked for the crowd to have gone that insane.
That's true. But there were times where the faces would get the hot tag and the fans would cheer, but they weren't cheering because they were happy. They were cheering because it was their part in the script to cheer at that point.
Daniels got the hot tag and ran in, and it was just like they cheered. They didn't go crazy or anything like that. Especially, and they teased that hot tag forever.
Mm-hmm.
This crowd is very weird. You've got to fool this crowd. You've got to do something different to get this crowd. This crowd knows their role.
Yeah.
They know when they're supposed to cheer. They know when they're supposed to boo. I can't remember what match it is, but I wrote it in the report for the newsletter. But there was one point where everybody knew that what had happened in the ring was just not what was supposed to happen. It was bad. I wish I could remember the spot. But anyway, they went along with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They went along with it. And every now and then, you can really get them. The finish of this match somehow did it.
Yeah.
The finish of this match was not the usual. We're cheering because there was a tag title change.
No, I agree.
This was passionate cheering.
Yes.
And the reaction when Jarrett grabbed the belt was also passionate hatred. Those were the two things on this crowd where they got him. The rest of the show was really just they did their role.
I would say they got into Joe and Steiner the whole thing.
And that's another one, yeah.
But,
in fact, I can't believe I missed that one. That was
that
was the only match where the whole match they were like, we want to see this match.
And actually, from what I could tell of the opener, they've seen pretty much into that. But even then, when
there was a lot of that was one. See, I didn't agree with it there because they had the "This is awesome" chant.
Yeah.
And to me, when I watch this match, this was a match that got the best reaction of any lackluster match I think I've seen since Rock and Hogan in Toronto. I mean, This match really wasn't all that great.
No, it didn't look that good. But
they hit each other with shit. There was some bleeding. There were some tables. And the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome" and such, like it was the best main event they ever saw.
Like they had never seen hardcore wrestling before.
And I don't think they believed it is the key.
Well, no,
because it wasn't that awesome.
They were happy, they were cheering, they were into it, but then even when they threw the tables in, what the crowd chanted was, "We want fire."
That's right.
So they were having fun, but they're not really into the match.
Let's talk about that match while we're at it. It was Team 3D versus James Gang in a bingo hall brawl. I think the key here might have been that everybody knew this was supposed to be TNA showing ECW how it's done, and so they had to show the ECW fans how it was done.
That was the plan?
I don't believe there was that much real reaction from this crowd. As far as just they played their role. That's how I saw this reaction was the crowd played their role.
The crowd hit their spots.
And they liked it. Don't get me wrong. They didn't play their role and appreciate a bad match. This was just a pretty good match that they tried to make great. And that's another thing. For those people that say, Joe versus Kabashi was great, but it was all the crowd. No. Because this match would have been 5 stars with this crowd. And God knows it wasn't.
It was not, in fact, 5 stars.
It was not.
No.
So.
It was a mess. They did everything. They, as you said, chairs, tables, cheese grater. Billy Gunn bladed a lot to the point where Brent did not even recognize him.
Yes.
He came out and said, "Who's that bleeding?" And I said, "Billy Gunn." And he said, "Bill Donovan?" I said, "Bill E. Gunn." Jesus God. I think that's when I told him to fuck you. But
do you have something to say, Brent, about this opener?
Well, after that, I said he sure looks fatter than the last time I saw him.
Billy Gunn?
Yeah.
Of all the men in that ring.
Yeah. And then
he's ripped to shreds.
And then my main point was the crowd in Orlando. Would you say that most of them are regulars? Do they still hold up signs like they did in the WCW taping?
Yes,
they tell them
all
to cheer and
on
boo?
pay-per-view nights. They're all the same folks.
Okay.
And put the mic a little closer to your face, by the way. Just don't suck on it.
So.
For God's sake.
You have to share that with Vince.
Yeah.
We don't need fluid swapping in this house.
Please, that's enough of that. So, they're regulars, and they don't have signs for them to telling them when to cheer and boo.
Okay. Yes. No. These are just They don't have applause signs.
All right. Well, so they reacted the way that they're supposed to.
They know.
Right.
They've been there every week for 52 straight weeks, and more than that. They were there tonight. They're going to be there tomorrow too.
All right.
So probably 104 to what's 104 plus 50? Wait, my math is totally wrong.
They do tapings too.
154.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, give the mic back.
I had one other comment. I think that
boy.
I am a
Jew.
fan that's terrible for the wrestlers because I tend to only get excited at high spots.
I noticed
that.
that.
They're the most dangerous.
I noticed that. You are not into the match unless somebody does something crazy.
Yeah. So, am I similar to the TNA fans at all, or
no?
At least tonight?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say this. You're not.
You are not similar to any other human being on the face of the earth.
You're not the sort of fan. There's a certain kind of fan that only gets into people almost dying. You don't get into that. You only get into spectacular stuff.
That's true.
And you got into some stuff tonight that was like spinning head scissors and stuff like that.
Or a drop kick.
Sure, something very safe, but spectacular. You're just more into spectacular kind of wrestling. That's fine. There are people like that. So that was the opener. Then we had Scott Damore and Bobby Roode versus Rhino. Not much to it. Rhino gored Scott Damore and won, and that was that.
Even when Damore loses, he's still the focus of the show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, without question, this was the Scott Damore show. But I
don't know. I was in the middle of this when you called us in to start the show. I saw one great spot wherein Bobby Roode went to leap up in the corner, thinking Rhino would run under him. Rhino did not, in fact, run under him, and Bobby Roode said, "Shit," and turned around and got clotheslined, and I laughed and laughed and laughed.
And Brent asked you if it was a missed spot.
Brent believes it was a blown spot.
Brent, I'm going to ask
Do
you
we
this
want to have
question.
this debate in the air?
I'm going to have the debate because I'm just going to explain it to you. It was a worked missed spot. In the story of the match, he missed a spot. That's why he said, "Oh, shit." But in real life, he didn't miss a spot. It does make sense. Just go with it. So then we had the X
You have
Division.
no idea how much we were yelling at each other about this.
The X Division ranking match. Senshi, Petey Williams, Shark Boy, Jay Lethal, Alex Shelley, and Sanjay Dutt. It was a fine little match. It was an X Division showcase, that sort of thing. Everybody did spots. My complaints about this match are Alex Shelley. This is the second time this has happened. They act like they're doing something with Alex Shelley. The first time it happened was the paparazzi stuff with Sting, where he was up there in the main event mix. Supposedly, he was hanging out with all the main eventers.
Hanging out with Jarrett and the crew.
Sure, and they were trying to position him as a big guy, a big star, at least a guy that was a hanger-on to the big stars. So then the very next pay-per-view, he just does job clean.
Yes.
So then they have him here in this match, and he's butting up with Kevin Nash. He's doing spots with Kevin Nash. He's Kevin Nash's gopher,
Sidekick.
lackey, sidekick, whatever you want to call it. His Nash's friend, Shelley. And so what do they do in this match? There's 6 guys, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, and he's the second one pinned. He is now the number 5 contender in the X Division.
Wow.
The only guy worse than him is the Shark Boy.
Well, at least he's above him.
So, yeah, and the final 2 men in the ring ended up being Senshi and Sanjay Dutt. Senshi tied him in the Tree of Woe, stepped on his knees so that Sanjay Dutt sat up, and then delivered a jumping double foot stomp to his face.
Yes.
He was killed, and Senshi won. So he is the number 1 contender. I believe he'll be getting the shot at the top of the first hour tomorrow against Samoa Joe at the taping. So that will be this Thursday. At least that was the rumor.
Well, that will be awesome whenever they do it.
It will be stupid.
That too.
Why the fuck would you not put this on pay-per-view?
Because they're stupid.
I presume they're doing Joe and... actually, no, they wouldn't do Joe and Steiner again. It was just a clean finish, so they can move on now. But yeah, this I would have saved this for pay-per-view.
Perhaps they will do a non-finish tomorrow.
They could do that. That's a possibility.
Or whenever they do the taping Tuesday.
So anyway, that was that. Brent, you actually saw this match, and you were a big fan of it because of the wacky high jinx-a-roonies. So what'd you think?
You talking about Kevin Nash?
No, you jackass. The X Division match.
Oh yeah, the X Division. Yeah, that was outstanding. I mean, they had all the crazy stuff that was going on. That was my favorite match. I personally gave it 5 stars.
You gave that match 5 stars.
I did. Lots of crazy stuff. That's how I rated it.
That's okay. Everyone has different opinions. It's okay. Hand that back to Vince.
Fuck you fucking goose!
Then we had the Kevin Nash match. Vince, were you here for the Kevin Nash match?
I arrived in the middle of the Kevin Nash match.
You arrived in the middle of it. I see. Well, what did you think of the whole whack-maroo?
Well...
Could I get your email address? Maybe we could email each other.
I love that drum.
That speech was awesome. The part where he says, if I don't want to talk to you, why would I want to hunt and peck a message to you?
Oh, LOL. We're laughing out loud.
I got to put Brent on. Put Brent on for a second. Brent, and give him these. Brent, I know you hate Kevin Nash. You ranted about him and you ranted about him during this show. But Kevin Nash has been at his funniest in his whole career. Nash for a long time had a reputation of being a great interview, and he really wasn't very good. I don't know where he got this reputation. I think part of it was he always hung out with Scott Hall, and Scott Hall had the charisma of about 25 men. So when they were together doing wacky stuff, Nash he was funny by osmosis, basically. It was really Scott Hall that was the funny one. But lately, Nash has really come into his own. He's been cutting some great promos. And
could I get your email address? Maybe we could email each other.
This is from a Kevin Nash promo on the website that I am so sad they did not play on the air.
LOL. We're laughing out loud.
You know so funny is I thought of Buddy Wayne when he did this whole promo.
Could I get your email address? Maybe we could email each other.
Listen to you, Brent. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, it was funny.
I got a song for you. I want you to hear this one.
I got
my 2x4. I got the American flag.
Excellent.
USA! Tak stawiamy telewizję USA!
Brings back some memories.
Brings back some memories.
Satchel ass! Satchel ass! Satchel ass!
That would be Terry Funk.
That's Terry Funk. We should play the drop game with Brent one of these days. That was not the time, but...
Can I have some comments on Kevin Nash?
Go. The floor is yours.
All right.
Woo!
Ric Flair.
That was a honky tonk man.
Oh.
Calm down. Please sit down and relax, Vince.
Well,
oh boy, Brent's taking a seat.
Did Kevin Nash get a phone call from Jerry Jarrett or Jeff Jarrett, or whoever's booking this, and saying, the one unique aspect of this promotion is the X Division. So we want you to come in, bury all these guys, make sure that nobody gives a crap about them, and that they're a big joke, and basically to squash them. And Bryan, I believe you said no.
I will explain this to you, and then you can continue.
Okay.
Kevin Nash came up with this idea. He was like, I will come in and say the X Division is a bunch of midgets. I will have a series of matches. And in the end, I'll put over one of the X Division stars, and we'll make the division into something important. And they said, that's a great idea. And even though everybody, I shouldn't say everybody because they didn't, even though a lot of people knew this is going to be a disaster, they thought otherwise. They thought this is going to work out great. And thus, we're getting what we're getting.
Well, Meltzer likes to use the phrase, and you probably do too, slip on a banana peel.
Sure.
Yeah, is that what Kevin Nash intends to do? He doesn't really intend to
I'm sure Kevin Nash,
anyone.
I'm sure Kevin Nash intends to do that. I'm sure that he's convinced them otherwise that he will do something different.
Are they smart enough to know the difference?
Well,
Jarrett probably is.
Clearly not, because Kevin Nash pinned Chris Sabin tonight.
Right. So the best case scenario is that he's going to bury every wrestler in the X Division except for one of them. It's our best case scenario. Our worst case scenario is he's going to bury every wrestler, including the one that he loses to, because fans will consider that result a joke. And the entire promotion he's going to destroy, which would be the second promotion that he's helped destroy.
I actually consider that the best case scenario if he destroyed the entire X Division and the guy he's supposed to be putting over. The worst case scenario would be if he actually destroyed the whole company. I don't think he's going to do that. But the X Division is fucked. And you saw this match, Brent. Am I lying when I say that during this match there were people chanting, Sabin sucks?
I believe that's correct.
There were, in fact, people chanting, Sabin sucks. There were people chanting for Kevin Nash. Many people saw Kevin Nash as the baby face in this match. He's supposed to be the heel.
Right. And his knees are shot, and he doesn't have much of a future in the company. He has no business being there. He's more interested in amusing himself. I don't know if he's doing this for a paycheck or if he's just doing this for his own amusement.
Paycheck. The thing I was trying to explain to you, Brent, is this. I can't hate Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash cuts promos and he's really funny. And everything that's being done, he ain't the booker. Everything that has happened in this feud is all TNA's fault. Because A, they put it together, and B, they should have known going in what was going to happen. I can't fault him at all. The only thing I can really fault him for is, if it were me, I think I really would try to put the whole division over. He clearly, he sees everything as a joke. And I make a lot of jokes and everything like that, but, there are certain things that, not everything is a joke in life. You can try to make things better. And he doesn't, I don't think that's a major concern of his. His concern is getting Kevin Nash over. Because his whole career, his goal has been to get Kevin Nash over, and he's very, very wealthy because of it. And so he doesn't see a need to, do anything otherwise. Or maybe he actually does think that he is doing some sort of benefit to TNA, but if that's really what he thinks, he's a fool. Because he has turned the division really into, or at least this program for sure. The people were somewhat into the X Division spot fest, but they now see the division as the Cruiserweight geeks. He's turned it into the SmackDown Cruiserweight division, really.
Well, we basically agree. I think that Kevin Nash knows exactly what he's doing, and he does just want to get himself over, even if he drives this company out of business.
The thing is with the X Division is there's two guys right now. There's Samoa Joe, and I guess AJ and Daniels count, but they're sort of heavyweights. They're in the heavyweight division now for the tag titles. So really right now you've got Samoa Joe.
And he's not even really a true X Division participant anyway, because No Limits, I think of there's no limits as far as what you can do, and just because of his size,
Well, no limits-
he's not going to be doing flips through the air.
Sure, but no limits includes no weight limits.
Right.
But the point is, he's a champion, so he's in the X division. So you've got Samoa Joe and you've got Senshi. And the reason that they're over is because they're bigger than the X division. And that's the only reason. The idea should be to try and get the whole division over, and instead you're killing the whole division for everybody else. And the only reason those two guys are staying afloat is because they're above that division, really. So, I don't know. It's a failure. Get Vince in here. Vince, come here. We need to get his thoughts on this match. I mean, the match was... Nash can't do a goddamn thing. Sabin was working very, very hard for the Sabin sucks chance. And, you know, it was what it was. They're continuing this feud.
Yeah, I can, first of all, I feel better having taken that 5-minute break, and I think that little conversation there actually may have been the highlight of the show. So maybe I should leave more often. No, I can confirm they were, in fact, chanting for Nash, or at least a large percentage of the crowd saw him as the babyface. And coming into tonight, I did not think that they had done anything to really harm the division as a whole. Well, I was wrong.
Have you seen the error of your ways?
I was mistaken. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, this was really exactly what... it wasn't any better or worse than I expected. It was exactly what I expected.
I came in the middle of it. As far as the quality of the match, it was okay. It wasn't great, but what do you want from Kevin Nash and Chris Sabin in 2006? So, yeah, and Kevin Nash was the babyface by the end for sure.
Yep. So, kids,
they're a bunch of geeks.
Yeah. Overall, the pay-per-view, like I said, for the Joe stuff was just perfect for the second pay-per-view in a row. The one thing is, TNA, they're really on the ball with Samoa Joe.
It's amazing when you look at it and how much stuff they are not doing right, and yet they have...
I actually am not amazed. I will tell you why.
All right.
I followed WCW, obviously, for many years. I wrote a book on its death. I watched the stupidity week after week after week. And they never screwed up Goldberg until the very end.
Even when Nash beat him?
That's the very end.
All right.
I'm talking at the very beginning when
Yes.
he started going on the win streak. I mean, they didn't screw it up all the way. I guess
a year and a half.
The first real screw up was when he won the belt for free.
Well, yeah.
They could have made millions of dollars on pay-per-view, and they just fucked it all up by giving it away for free on TV.
But even that didn't fuck up Goldberg.
No, even that was a huge success for Goldberg. But the point was, that should never have worked. There were so many people, everybody was trying to kill Goldberg.
Yes.
And Eric Bischoff was like, this man will not lose. He didn't take any shit. He didn't listen to anybody. He was like, this man ain't going to lose, and he didn't. And they did not screw it up. And it was like the one thing where it just amazed me. They fucked everything up, and they didn't screw up Goldberg. And so, I'm not surprised that TNA can make many, many mistakes and still do one thing right. I mean, clearly, they know how to do this right with Joe, and somewhere somebody with a lot of power realizes that this is one they can't screw up, and they've done it right every month.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
For a year, really.
This is the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, the hiccup on the path there was the X Division thing, and even then they made a point of saying he's never been pinned and never submitted.
Sure,
So-
and even that, really, the whole reason that went down was because of their contract renegotiations.
Yeah.
They felt they had to take the belt off, and even then they did not beat him.
And no one remembers it.
Because I remember it. I can't say that. I believe somewhere in there somebody must have known, we probably shouldn't screw this up just in case.
Yeah.
And he should never have gone on the cables, but another story entirely. But I got to give it a thumbs up just for that Samoa Joe stuff. We are watching a star being created. There's always the statement TNA. Which stars TNA ever created? They're creating one right now before our eyes. It's Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe is a much bigger star than he was when he arrived 1 year ago.
Yes. So, got to give it a thumbs up for that. Brent, any final comments tonight? Any preferably lucid?
Yes. I just recall after WCW went out of business.
Yes.
And before TNA was formed, Meltzer wrote that whoever starts up a promotion needs to be prepared to lose money for a very long time.
Yes.
And they need to go and focus on getting pay-per-view, building a television network, developing their own stars, maybe using some established stars to put over those stars. And TNA is accomplishing a lot of that. They are building very slowly. They have lost $30 million, but they were going to lose money anyway. Panda obviously has deep pockets, and if Kevin Nash doesn't screw it up and if the booking committee doesn't screw it up, then they will succeed. As far as the big picture, they have a decent time slot, not a great one. They got a decent time slot on Spike. I don't know. I'm always asleep by midnight, so I don't ever see it. But they have their pay-per-views, and they have a decent talent roster if they want to do something. So I think that things long term are looking good for them.
Jeff Jarrett cut a promo earlier in the show. You reminded me of this. Oh God. Jeff Jarrett cut the promo. Our critics gave us 6 weeks. It is our 4-year anniversary. We're still here. Like he proved everybody wrong, goddammit. I am so sick.
I gave my rebuttal to that already.
I am so sick of hearing this bullshit about how everybody said it was going to last 6 weeks or whatever the time length was, and we're still here. The deal is, when this thing started, and I'm sure the issue's in the archives, I said 3 months. I said I give this promotion 3 months with this business model. And if you read Jerry Jarrett's book, Jerry Jarrett says in September it was dead had Panda not stepped in and saved them. Now, I'm not great at math, but I believe June through early September is 3 months. To crow about how after 4 years you're still here because you found a money mark that dumped $30 million into your company, and that proved everybody wrong that said you would be dead in 3 months, that fucking drives me crazy.
Apparently.
It drives me crazy because everybody points it out like, wow, you guys were so wrong. They sure showed you. They were a huge success from right out of the gate, and they're still a huge success today.
And that's not true?
No, they're still a money loser today.
They're still a failure.
And they've lost about $9 million every year. And without this money mark, pumping money into them, they would be dead. And they would have been dead on the exact month I predicted that they would have been dead. Go ahead, Brent. I want to hear this.
As I just said, anyone who started a promotion after WCW folded from scratch will lose money for years. The point is, you need to go and you need to build.
The point is this:
you need to build a model where you can eventually make money. It might take 5 years. It might take 7 years.
Brent, the model they built in June, the model that I said would last 3 months, in fact, lasted 3 months. Well, a weekly pay-per-view.
That was a stupid idea.
Okay,
with no television.
The point I'm trying to make right now is the promos that I hear and the shit that I hear about this 3-month deal is not that it was a bad idea. It's that you were wrong. We were a success right out of the gate and we're still around today. That's not the case. They were dead in 3 months, and Panda stepped in, and they continued to lose millions of dollars. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about how this is a success and everybody was wrong. Because it's like, if you want to go on and cut a promo and go, you know what? We had a very rough road at the start. We had a lot of obstacles. We overcame all those obstacles. We're still not through the woods yet, but you know what? It's been 4 years, and by God, we're still here. I'd be totally fine with that. I would be totally fine with it, because that's the truth.
That's right.
And this bullshit about how everybody gave us 6 weeks, and look at this. They were such fools. We weren't fools. We were right. That's the whole point.
Yes, well, they just can't say that. What you're saying is
they
accurate.
Could.
I agree with you.
They could say that. They've still
makes them look weak to go and say that.
No, because they're still around. That's their strength. They are still here after 4 years, and that is a credit to them. I will give Jerry Jarrett credit. He may be the greatest worker there's ever been. Yes. Because he has found a way to lose $30 million and still be around 4 years later. They found a money mark to pump $30 million into this company so his child could be the champ. He may be the best worker there's ever been.
Anyone would have lost money for 4 years. And it was said before that company was formed.
He's about to turn you down.
You
I
are
understand.
so totally missing the point.
Yes, that's fine, though. I understand your point, but you're missing my point, and I don't want to be here arguing for 2 hours, so we'll just end it here.
A quick note just to pump up Jarrett more. He's lost $30 million, but it ain't his money.
That's right. Fantastic.
For all we know, he's actually profited off the deal.
Fantastic worker that man is. So anyway, kids, that's it for the TNA review today. I want to thank you both, Vinny and Brent. Brent, you were lucid at points today, so good job. There is something behind that Jew. What? Oh, Brent. Okay, I'm gonna actually let Brent plug this. I just want you to know, Brent, that you were doing this at your own risk. Okay, give him the mic.
You're risking all the feedback you get.
Give him the mic.
Miss Galatea, who you might remember, was kind enough to set up a page for me on MySpace. I'm not terribly computer literate, so she handled this. So you go to myspace.com/thekremen.
The Kremen.
The Kremen.
TheKremen. The Kremen.
That's correct. And if you have any lady friends out there, let them know to check out the site, please. Ladies only send responses. The rest of you are welcome to give feedback to Bryan and Vince.
As a Jew.
Is it required this young lass be Jewish?
No.
Really?
No. They just have to be 18. They have to be Jewish if they want to marry me.
I see. If they just want to fuck.
If you shut Brent up.
I silenced him. That was an accomplishment, you have to admit.
You're the man.
Kids, we're out of here. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you, tomorrow, actually. Yeah, then we had the TNA show, which was a fine little program. I actually have no memory of it whatsoever, but I don't remember hating it. So
I do recall...
As I go over my notes, I'll start to slowly...
One day after watching the show, Buddy Wayne asked us what happened on it, and I had no idea. I had to sit back and think, what did happen on TNA last night?
Yeah.
And I thought of some stuff.
Tonight, I kill you. Because I'm ready to snap! Because I'm ready to snap!
That is Steiner.
It is.
I'm ready to snap! Because I'm ready to snap!
I need help from the board. Every now and then I chew out the board and I immediately go to him for help. I need a drop of the YouTube deal with Luger where he flips out because the t-shirt's too tight. That is a fantastic... Have you ever seen that?
I did, yes.
Okay. I was about to
go searching for it.
I was ready to snap. You talked over the joke. Let me start over. I was about ready to... Please stop doing that. Yeah, but...
What is crap is unsellable!
I don't even remember these promos.
What the hell was that one?
It's all Steiner.
Shut up, Jeff!
That I remember.
You made a big mistake! I'm gonna kick your ass! It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide. Tonight, I kill you. Because I'm ready to snap! What is crap is unsellable!
I'm not sure if he says smash my wife.
This crap is unsellable?
Shut up for a second.
It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide. It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide.
I smash them all wide.
Smash a mile wide?
I smash them all wide.
Let's turn it up. Hold on.
It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide. It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide.
Why would he say he smashes his wife?
Why would he?
It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide.
Why would he say I smashed him a mile wide?
I smash him a mile wide?
It doesn't matter, I smash them all wide.
Somebody needs to do more of that.
Somebody please translate Scott Steiner for us.
I need to hear it in context. Right now, it doesn't work.
It just perplexes us.
I got the largest arms in the world. You see that, Joe? That's a vein. Something you don't have, you little fat bastard. I got a problem with Joe calling himself Samoa Joe. You're a freaking half-breed. I'm going to treat you like a half-breed.
I love that.
Apparently half-breeds are supposed to be beaten up by Scott Steiner.
I just like that Scott Steiner's upset because he calls himself Samoa Joe.
Yes.
This really bothers him.
It's a falsehood.
Never mind there's men called Sting. And he doesn't like Samoa Joe. No. It's just an unacceptable wrestling name.
I got a problem with Joe calling himself Samoa Joe. You're a freaking half-breed. I'm going to treat you like a half-breed.
I love Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner's awesome.
For those of you that haven't figured it out, this was by far the highlight of this show, was just the fact that Scott Steiner is a part of this promotion. I don't even remember what happened, really. It was, okay, I remember. We had Cornette come out, and he had the belt, and he said the title was vacant. We would have a decision next week about who was going to be the champion. Number of meetings throughout the show with various people. Jarrett was told he had to wait a week for the decision. Christian was told this, that, and the other thing. Sting said he got everything he wanted. So anyway, kids, don't want to spoil it for you or anything like that, but Jarrett's champion next week.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it's a spoiler, but you'd hear about it at the top of the show, so it don't matter. But anyway, so they're going to do a four-way match in the next pay-per-view. Jarrett will defend against four men, one of which is Samoa Joe, which is very interesting. So,
especially given the result of the opener of this of the first match on this show. So,
which was what?
The three-way for the X title?
No, it wasn't. It was AJ Styles and Chris Daniels versus Elix, Skipper, and David Young.
Are you sure? Oh, that's right. They said it would be. They said the three was going to be opener, and it was not.
It was like
they did it later in the show.
Anyway, yeah, Joe is no longer the X-champion. Senshi pinned Sanjay Dutt and won the title. So, by the way, because Samoa Joe was whacked by Scott Steiner.
'Cause I'm ready to snap!
Snapped and hit him with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
So that feud continues. So Steiner's going to be in the match, and I believe Christian, Sting, and
Joe.
That was be the four men. Thanks for jumping in before I'd even pause to continue my... I was on a roll right there, and you had to jump in like I was.
So when you say that means you're on a roll.
I didn't do an
You did.
If I could rewind this show right now, I'd do it, but it's too late, I'm too lazy, and someone else will do it and prove you wrong, and that's fine with me.
You know, you always say that's going to happen, and it never does.
That's because they feel no need to post. It's like, he's right. They just move on with their lives.
Yes, he's right. Vinny's right.
Christian, and besides, I've mentioned this many times before, I sometimes like moments of a dramatic pause.
So, because it's a dramatic pause.
I didn't say,
You did.
All right. I can't go back. God damn it. I didn't say,
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
But if I stop it, this whole thing's going to get all screwed up.
No, don't do that.
I didn't say it, though. And and it's just like we talked about with JBL when you're doing announcing. Sometimes it's okay to not say anything.
Well, that's true.
And sometimes I like to go, the four men in the match are going to be Scott Steiner, Christian, Sting, and Joe. Samoa Joe. Which is what I was on my way to doing when you leaped in. You fucking snap.
I'm ready to snap!
What is the point of all of this?
Did you just compare me to Scott effing Steiner?
As far as like a guy that weighs too much for his frame.
Well, it's just some logic there.
We're
both emotionally unstable.
What were we talking about?
Impact.
Oh yeah, the title match coming up. So, yeah, I asked Dave, and of course he's far more intelligent and worldly than you. But I may as well ask you the question: who's going to win that match and face Jarrett later in the evening?
That is a good question.
And who's going to walk out of the pay-per-view with the belt?
If you're asking me who is going to, I guess I'd say Joe. If you're asking me who I think should be doing it, I would not say Joe, but it sure looks like that's what they want us to, or what they're going to do, because there's no other reason to take the X belt off him except unless they're going to put him in the title picture. And even then, he could be chasing the world title and still defending the X title, because damn it, he's Joe and he could pull it off. But yeah, I think it's too soon. I think they could have him chase the title for a long time. Maybe they'll put him in the four-way, have him. I'm guessing it's not an elimination four-way, so I've killed Bryan.
I almost dozed off.
You did.
An elimination four.
I'm guessing Joe can not be pinned and still not get the title shot.
All right, here's my theory. I think you're wrong. I don't think Joe's leaving with the belt, and I'll tell you why. Because that would be stupid.
Why? I did say it was stupid.
Because whoever wins this match is getting a shot at Jeff that night.
Right.
So if Joe wins, that means he's got to beat Jeff. Because I don't think they're stupid enough to have Jeff Jarrett beat Samoa Joe.
That would be the death knell.
And TNA, you can say a lot of things about TNA, but they're not stupid. They're not dumb bookers. They don't do things that you just go, okay, that was dumb.
Jeff Jarrett left the last...
I'm getting on to this. So I don't think they're stupid enough to book a pay-per-view where you don't know that Joe's going to be fighting for the belt going in, And if he does, he wins. That is just monumental stupidity.
And while I would say they have been stupid before, they have not done anything stupid with Joe. Or very little stupid with Joe.
So the other question is, okay, well, who else? I have absolutely no logical explanation for Jeff Jarrett getting the belt back, except that the next person to win the belt is going to be a babyface, and they didn't want to have a babyface beat Christian. So that would only leave Sting as the man to win the belt. Do you put the damn belt on Sting?
You make a lot of points. It looks like they would. We've discussed many times what a failure Christian was as the hero champion. I think having him beat Jarrett would be a horrible idea. Having Sting win and then win the title and then have Christian turn on him, that would work.
No, I think the long-term idea is to have the belt on Joe.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at this booking committee, the way that they seem to make decisions, I see it far more logical that they would think we need to have Sting lose the belt to Joe, as opposed to we need to have Joe beat Christian. I don't think they want Joe beating Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett is not going to put over Joe. And I think they feel that Sting is still a big enough star that if Joe beats Sting for the world title, that will put him over the top as a superstar. So I predict Sting walks out of the pay-per-view with the title, and I predict he holds it for actually probably 2 or 3 months. Not 6 months. He's only got till... Actually, I guess he probably got till November, December, whatever the hell it is. But I think he's going to hold it for a while and then lose it to Joe. I think that would be the plan. But
well, that does make a lot of sense.
So anyway, that's just my thoughts there. That was the TNA show. It was fine. Cornette was good. A lot of other stuff.
The knockouts are hot.
Knockouts are hot. The Team 3D James Gang deal. I also disagree with Dave here. There's another thing. 2-on-1 show.
Holy cow.
I thought this was the stupidest thing I've ever saw in my whole life because it was the dumbest jokes. And it was a bunch of baby faces having to laugh like it was the funniest thing they ever heard. And they came off as such goofs.
Watching Chris Sabin do whatever the fuck it was he was doing during this segment was the highlight of the show.
He looked like such a dork.
I don't know if he was dancing. I don't know if he was doing sign language. But whatever it was, I couldn't take my eyes off him. And yes, he came off like a monument.